What's up, guys? It's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be reacting to the Barcelona news over the past 24 hours, where we have huge news to discuss. Firstly, Marc Guiu is off to Chelsea. You think this would be a rumor? No, it is basically done, and I will give you guys all the updates, all the details, and all the logistics behind the entire operation. It's just not as simple as a release clause. There's so much behind it, and I'll give you guys all the detail. Crazy scenes. Secondly, Deco yet again is just moving man, and every time we get positive news about Nico Williams, he just shoves Luis Diaz down our effing throats, and we have some news about Luis Diaz still being the #1 option in the left wing position. We'll discuss that. Finally, for the first time in about 2 weeks, a week and a half, we have some news in regards to midfield reinforcements, some updates on Mikel Merino, Amadou Onana, and Kimmich. Some big news as well about Barcelona making a decision to keep one of Eric Garcia or Inigo Martinez, with the other one departing the club this summer. That is an internal debate happening at Barcelona. We'll talk about that. And finally, Lamine Yamal set to receive the number 10 kit, with the anniversary being, of course, in November for the 120th anniversary of the club. Marketing, advertisement wise, it is crucial that someone in the first team has the number 10. With Ansu Fati likely to leave, the club have set their eyes on giving it to Lamine Yamal. But before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below. Let's try to get to 200 likes in this video. Be very much appreciated. And also, if you're new, make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Let's start off with the transfer news over the past 24 hours. Firstly, I don't know why this always happens, and honestly, if I'm being completely honest, it is starting to piss me off just a little bit. Every time we get some positive news about Nico Williams in like a great way, we just get slapped in the face with just a bunch of Luis Diaz crap. Fernando Polo of Mundo Deportivo came out saying that Luis Diaz, who Barcelona has as one of their targets to strengthen the left wing, dreams for playing for Barcelona. The estimated cost of the arrival will be around 60 million euros, but his signing would require a sale for Raphinha in the summer for a big amount of money. It's just, again, reiteration from Fernando Polo saying the same thing over and over again consistently. But he also adds this: Luis Diaz is still the favorite to strengthen the left wing position. Even though the club really likes Nico Williams, they believe that the Colombian can have a greater impact as he has more experience and better goal scoring ability. There's this Polish guy that plays as striker. I don't know if you guys know who he is. His name is Robert Lewandowski. We are paying him next season 300,000 euros a week to do what? To score goals. The reality is, the left winger does not need to be able to score a high amount of goals. He just needs to be able to score goals when he's in the position to do so. One of the criticisms I had for Raphinha last season, that he gets into great areas, especially in the final third, he scouts the majority of his chances. Of course, new year came around, he started to score a bit more. Credit to him, great season. That's what we need. We're not asking for a left winger to come in here and have 20 goals, 26 per season. That's not what this team currently needs. We need a natural winger that can create chances for the guy up front that's earning 300,000 euros a week next season to finish his chances and also be a threat down that left-hand side. If he can score goals, that's absolutely fantastic. And Nico Williams can do that. And again, apart from, yes, Luis Diaz has more experience, sure, I guess so, because he's played for Liverpool, he's played at the highest level for about 2 years now. He's come off a back of an injury-prone season, which again these reports failed to justify, failed to bring up. It just pisses me off. I mean, you get great news yesterday about, Nico Williams, #1 priority, the club will go for him again, blah blah blah, and then you just get hit with this. And again, it's not like you're comparing the prices as well. You're comparing the fact that in order to sign Luis Diaz, you had to sell Raphinha. And after what Raphinha did yesterday with the fans who were chanting F Barcelona and put them in his place, we should not be selling Raphinha whatsoever. You keep on listing him on the market, and you're just going to keep shattering his confidence. Oh, the club bought Luis Diaz, but they had to sell Raphinha. And you just keep repeating that. How does it make Raphinha feel himself? He's sitting there in Brazil, looking at the media saying that, oh, they want to sell me to bring in Luis Diaz, and not going to have any, depth at the right wing whatsoever. It just boggles my mind, and it's starting to piss me off as well. If you want Luis Diaz, fine. Just tell us now you want Luis Diaz and go for him, then we'll see how it is. But if you're telling me right now you want to go for Luis Diaz over Nico Williams just purely on the fact that he can score goals and he has more experience, it's ludicrous. And on top of that, you have to sell Raphinha somehow to facilitate a Luis Diaz arrival, where for Nico Williams you don't. I don't know. It's really getting annoying. And I still feel like Nico Williams is the priority a little bit. The fans are really behind Nico Williams as well. You know, they're chanting out when Joel Laporte is coming up in public to sign Nico, sign Nico. They ain't chanting to sign Luis Diaz. And also, the club think that they can get Luis Diaz for 60 million. I don't know where the hell they're getting this from. Luis Diaz is one of Liverpool's more prominent forwards. I would be shocked if they asked for 60 million. I think they would ask for around maybe 80, maybe upwards of 90. He's one of their best forwards alongside Mohamed Salah. Like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So wait and see how this turns out. I still firmly believe that the club are gonna push for Nico. I think that Nico is the priority. But this Luis Diaz stuff, I don't know why it keeps coming about on a consistent basis, especially after positive reports about Nico Williams. Now, after about a week or so of absolutely zero updates on midfield reinforcement, we finally got some yesterday from Fernando Polo from Mundo Deportivo to give us some insights on what Barcelona are currently looking at to strengthen their midfield. He mentioned Amadou Onana. He came out saying that Amadou Onana is Deco's favorite choice for the pivot position. However, Barcelona's financial fair play situation makes it very difficult to sign him. Manchester United is offering around 55 million fixed plus 5 million euros in variables and considers a considerable salary for the player. Now, I don't know if that offer is true or not. We'll wait and see, but I think that is overpaying for Amadou Onana a little bit. I think, I've always been consistent about saying 40 million. I mean, if we end up signing him for 50, I would not complain, but I think 55 is too much for him. When Everton are, having issues with FFP, they had to sell before June the 30th, and they have one of their best assets, and they haven't, really cut down the price yet. It's quite strange to me. I feel like if you really go in there with the, 40 million bid plus 10 million in variables, something like that, I feel like Everton would be tempted by that, but again, I think Amadou Onana would be a great signing for Barcelona. Of course, if Hansi Flick does want him. If Flick does not want him, then I wouldn't go for him, but I think he would be a great signing for Barcelona. But another name that's come about a lot recently has been the name of Mikel Merino. Fernando Polo Mundo Deportivo came out saying that Mikel Merino is a very liked name at Barcelona. The player is seen as a low-cost option as compared to Amadou Onana. Atletico Madrid is also interested, but Barcelona is calm in that aspect. The club only considers Arsenal as a danger to his signing. So the club do like him. They see him as a backup option to Amadou Onana, which again is interesting since they're kind of two very different profile players. But again, for 25 million plus 5 million euros in variables, of course was the quoted price that we talked about 2 weeks ago, I wouldn't mind it. I think it's a good option for the club, especially if Flick wants to play a double pivot. I think Mikel Merino alongside Frankie de Jong would, cooperate with each other very, very well. You could have one who drop back, and you can one that goes forward. Then you can have them alternating in that position, so wouldn't mind that whatsoever. But there is another midfielder as well, and that's of course Joshua Kimmich. We mentioned how yesterday that there's a very likely separation between Bayern Munich and Joshua Kimmich coming up very soon. And also Sky Germany Pletico, of course, also mentioned the fact that even today Joshua Kimmich isn't officially represented by any agent, but he is advised in the background. Any club willing to sign him would have to talk to him directly. So he's a very similar situation to what Raphinha is at Barcelona. Only Arsenal, Barcelona, Liverpool, Man City, and Real Madrid are under Kimmich's considerations. He's only leave Bayern Munich for one of these clubs, and of course we are listed there. So if the interest is strong, I'm honestly thinking that Kimmich in next summer for free is looking pretty likely. Again, with him likely to leave Bayern Munich this summer, I would not spend any more than 30, especially with him in the final year of his contract. I think if you can get a deal for around 30 million, that'd be worth it to bring him in a year earlier. But other than that, might as well wait a year if the interest from Barcelona is that strong. So we'll wait and see. Again, the names are all right. Nothing that I think really fits the mold from a Barcelona perspective, like Nico Williams as the left wing. I think Amadou Onana is as close as you can get to that, but of course he's going to be super expensive. But if 60 million for Nico Williams, 50 for Amadou Onana, 110 million euros in total, you get two top signings for two positions that you desperately need to strengthen, I'd sign on it, if I'm being honest. So we'll wait and see how things do turn out. But again, finally, some reports coming out about Barcelona's midfield reinforcement, which of course is the desperate need for the club this summer. It should be the utmost priority. Now, we also have some updates on players who are very unlikely to join Barcelona this summer. Some of them are, I would say, good news. Some of them not so good news from a biased perspective. First one up, Bernardo Silva. Luis Rojo from Marca came out saying that Barcelona will not be pursuing Bernardo Silva at any point this summer. His release clause that he has, of course, exclusively to Barcelona of 60 million euros actually expires on June the 30th. So if you want to get Bernardo Silva once July hits, you have to restart and completely, fresh negotiations with Manchester City. And again, they're going to be asking for more than that 60 million euro release clause. So Bernardo Silva, unlikely. I think we kind of moved on from him now since Xavi's departure, which I think is a good thing as well. I'd rather get Dani Olmo than Bernardo Silva, if I'm being completely honest. But again, I don't think we need that kind of profile player. So hopefully we do kind of push away from that. Another midfielder that we are going to miss out on this summer, which I think is very, very unfortunate because it was a fantastic market opportunity. It is Xavi Simons. Fabrizio Romano's come out saying that Barcelona really tried for Xavi Simons, especially when Xavi was still the manager. They wanted to do something, secretly. The club is still appreciative of the player, but the deal now is complicated with many other clubs also now in the race. The interest has definitely died down since Xavi's departure. I think Xavi Simons would have been a great operation, especially coming in on loan, little to no cost, a player that can play anywhere along that front four. I would still bring him in, honestly, and I think if you do enter the race, he would give Barcelona the priority. But I think now Bayern Munich are offering a loan with a buy obligation to PSG. RB Leipzig is offering the same thing as well. I feel like Barcelona would come in and offer a loan with a buy option at the best. But again, with Xavi Simons now officially telling PSG he wants to leave on loan, that still would have benefited Barcelona if Xavi Simons himself, the player, pushed for that move. If we still want to do it, I think there would be no complications in it. But I think now Barcelona in the media are trying to portray that if we do enter the race, it will be complicated. But we kind of moved on from this kind of profile that we were originally interested in now, especially with the return of Ansu Fati. You have Ferran Torres as well. You want to go for a left winger. You have Fermin Lopez. This would only make sense now if there is somewhat of a sale in one of those attacking or midfield positions. But since there isn't, again, it was just a great market opportunity, and again, he's a hell of a player as well. I'd rather see him stay at RB Leipzig, where he will get more game time, than Bayern Munich, because I think Bayern Munich he wouldn't really play too much, especially in those beginning phases. He would have to really earn his spot in the first team. But we'll wait and see. Again, wish him all the best of luck, even though he kind of left us in a crappy way. But cracking player, and we'll see how he does. And the final player that Barcelona missed out on is Jorthy Mokio, who of course was one of the top-rated young defenders coming up. I think he's at 16 years old, Belgian center back playing for Genk. He was absolutely ridiculous. And during the time where Xavi announced his departure, Deco was really pushing to sign him for the Barca Athletic side. And over the past week, he was deciding his future, and he has decided on Ajax. Fabrizio Romano came out saying that Ajax are set to complete the signing of Jorthy Mokio for a 3-year deal. Medicals have been booked for Monday, and this is also confirmed by everywhere from the Dutch media and also from Barcelona. Tony Martin also added that there were a lot of advanced talks for Jorthy Mokio, but the deal fell through because of the transfer bonus. What was quite clear is that he wanted to come to Barcelona, but Ajax and PSV were offering a bit more money and of course an easier path to the first team. He told Barcelona to just up their offer a little bit, money wise, but Barcelona refused, and in the end he chose elsewhere. Very similar to the Lucas Bergevall operation, where he wanted to join Barcelona, but Tottenham were offering more money and an easier route to the first team. We didn't want to match the money wise, and he ended up joining them for easier money and also an easier path. Of course, with him being a center back position right now, Barcelona is beyond stock, but a year or two later, the door would have definitely opened for a possible move for him, but he's not going to be joining Barcelona. A lot of people have been going at Deco for this. Look, this is just another young rated talent that if you can get, great. If not, you move on. There's plenty more efficient to see. Yes, he's highly rated. He might come to Barcelona in the future. You never know, but we're not going to go out here and overspend for youngsters when the academy right now is producing exponentially well. It's like a Mikel Merino. You can get him for a good price, 5 million. You maybe overpay a little bit since there's no competition as well. You get him and now you can double your money, great. But if you don't, I don't like overspending on youngsters, especially when the first team right now needs fucking investment beyond belief. I've seen people say, oh, just offer him the money, oh, Deco, another Thumble. I think Deco is doing well with these youngsters. You go, you present them a project, they like it, great, the money is there. We're not here to overpay youngsters when we have the best academy in the world. If we see a good prospect, hey, you want to come join us? Here's your offer. Oh, Tottenham are offering more money. Can you match it? Absolutely not. We have other players as well here. We just think that you're good. We want to take you under our wing and develop you to become better. That's how it should be. So no problem with this whatsoever. Wish him all the best, and we'll see. He might flop. He might become the best center back of all time. We'll see how it turns out. But yet again, another player, which a young player you could say that over the past few months that Barcelona have missed out on. But again, looks like Barcelona will not be pursuing Mokio anymore, alongside Xavi Simons and Bernardo Silva. Let's now discuss the players that have been rumored to leave Barcelona over the past 24 hours. Shout out the biggest news around Barcelona over the past 24 hours has been the fact that Marc Guiu is about to leave Barcelona. Chelsea have informed Barcelona that they're going to be activating his release clause of 6 million euros, and they're now in advanced negotiations with Marc Guiu on personal terms. The news actually broke from Gerardo Romero during Barça Athletic versus Cordoba's match in the playoff, which unfortunately the B team did lose. We'll touch about that later on in the video. It broke during that game. He said that, look, this is probably Marc Guiu's last game because he's in advanced negotiations with Chelsea, and that deal is going to get done. Fabrizio Romano also came out confirming it. But also Romano added that Barcelona did offer Marc Guiu a new deal, but they still have not received an answer yet. Mikel Merino also confirmed that Barcelona have been trying to renew his contract for a few weeks now, but without any success. Let's dissect this. What the fuck is going on? Listen, the first time we produced somewhat of a semi-decent striker in La Masia, he's off to Chelsea. If he's going to, you know, a Sevilla, a Betis, a Brighton, that kind of tub, I'm like, you know what, fair enough, wants to go get some game time, I understand that, develop his career, no problem, sayonara. Chelsea. What's worse, the one thing that pisses me off about this, he's going to Chelsea, and then he's going to get loaned. He's not even going to become Chelsea's number 9. He's going to Chelsea. Then he's going to go get loaned. Apparently, he's going to Strasbourg in France. Strasbourg, or however the hell you say that French league team. The blue badge with the S on it. He's going there, apparently. What? You know, this man talks about, oh, remember, you know, what annoys me is that we nurture these kids. We give them a platform. We give them the, you know, place to play. Can we just not ask for a bit of loyalty? This man's kissing the badge for Barcelona left, right, and center. As soon as one semi-okay club comes knocking on the door, he's pissing off to rainy London, and he's ditching sunny Catalonia for that. I understand next season you would have been third choice, but you know what? Vitor Roque did not impress in preseason. He would have been the first one to be loaned out. You still had a decent amount of minutes being a third choice striker last season. You know, your goal against Bilbao, goal against Antwerp. You started that game over Vitor Roque. I believe it was against Osasuna, if I'm not mistaken, or someone else. You've made a decent amount of appearances for a third choice striker, and this upcoming, you know, preseason, we would have had, you know, higher hopes for you. The issue is here that I think that Guiu is a top talent, and it's a top talent in the striker position. La Masia is very, very rare. That's why I'm upset for losing him. But at the end of the day, he was going to be the third choice. I'm not really too bothered by that. I think his value should have been way higher. Again, the release cost at the time was set based on what he was doing with the juvenile A side and also Barça Athletic a little bit. I think his value would have been around 10 million euros, but it's just weird. These players talk about loving the club. They grew up in the city. They grew up around the culture and style of play. They grew up, you know, knowing just nothing but love Barcelona. He's seen his best friends like Fermin Lopez and Hector Ford and Lamine Yamal and Paco Barça get their moments and renew their deals and say and commit to the club. But as soon as one semi-decent club comes knocking for him, he's out the door. And again, he's not going to become Chelsea's number 9, you know, back up to Nicolas Jackson or start over Nicolas Jackson. No, no, no. He's going on loan immediately. You know why? Because Chelsea's going to go for my Canadian brother, Jonathan David, and they're going to have him be the one that has coverage and competition with Nicolas Jackson. So he's not... Why not just renew your contract here, stay in a club that will nurture you and give you chances upon chances, simply on the fact that you are from the academy and we want to nurture you, and go out on loan here. I would have loved to have seen that, and that's what I was advocating for. I think he should have came on preseason with Barcelona. If he done well, okay, maybe you can risk it and keep him, have him, you know, bouncing towards the first team in the B side. If he didn't really impress too much, send him out on loan. Sevilla were knocking on the door, Betis, Valencia, Villarreal. Stay in the country and the league where your parent club is, where you know the language. You know, moving from Barcelona to Valencia is easier from moving from Barcelona to London than freaking back to France. Like, this whole entire thing doesn't make sense to me. But if he wants to leave, sayonara. I don't care. And you know what? The reality is, those who are loyal to Barcelona always get that credit. And if you just jump ship immediately, I'll tell you this right now for free. Guiu is going to flop. Guiu is going to flop. He might come back to... He might offer himself... I can see 28-year-old Marc Guiu offering himself to Barcelona as a free agent. I can already see it from now. Because these situations always happen. When you jump ship early from Barcelona, reality hits you. Because Barcelona is the perfect place for someone who cares to grow. You think Fermin Lopez would have came up in, you know, the Arsenal Academy? No. You think Paco Barça would have done it at, you know, the Tottenham Academy? No. You think that Hector Fort would have came up in the Chelsea Academy? No. Because there's certain style and a certain development that Barcelona execute to help players grow, and that is why we're the best academy in the world. I wish Guiu nothing but the best. I'll tell you right now, he's going to flop. Especially for the fact that he's going out on loan immediately, when he could have been on loan somewhere here and staying with Barcelona. But we'll wait and see. Nothing is 100% done yet. It is basically 99%. When Chelsea informed Barcelona they're going to activate his release clause, and personal terms with Chelsea are very advanced, it means he's given the green light. We'll see how things turn out. Again, Barcelona have a new deal for him on the table, which again, he's not responding to. This is also starting to piss me off as well. We're offering players renewals, you know, your Guius, your Diaz, and your Arujos, and they're just not answering us at all. Just, you know, airing us. How effing dare you? Not just Guiu, even to Amadou and Frankie de Jong as well. We gotta start cracking down these players. Hey, we show some respect. Even say, at least say no. Keep the communication fluid. Say no. Oh, I'll answer later. You can't just we offer you a contract and you just air us. Like, the club need to do something about that. But we'll wait and see with Marc Guiu. I think this deal is gonna get done, and it'll be interesting to see how he does in France or in England, wherever he stays. But is this a massive blow for Barcelona? I would say it's only a blow because, again, we finally produced a semi-decent striker. But now, again, if we can, keep Pau Victor from Girona on a permanent transfer, he'll become the next best thing since sliced bread. But Guiu is the first striker in a long, I don't even remember the last time. Maybe Mario Icardi, but then again, he kind of left Barcelona quite early. We have not produced, a good striker in a long time. And again, his pace, his reading of the game, his hold up play, he's a top player. But again, top player that needs to grow in the right environment. And I personally don't think that him going to Chelsea, then immediately out on loan to France, is the right environment for him. But if he thinks that's better for him, then by all means, we'll see how things turn out. But again, Marc Guiu looking like, well, not looking like, he's going to be leaving Barcelona. So again, that $6 million coming in, which, hopefully can be used. Probably the club will probably use this actually to go sign Pau Victor, if I'm being completely honest. But we'll see how things turn out. But that is the shocking news that Marc Guiu is jumping ship and is off to the blue side of London. Now, with one Barcelona striker leaving, that means another one will become even more prominent, and that is, of course, in Vitor Roque. There have been some exit reports on Vitor Roque. This came out prior to, the reports about Marc Guiu. Joaquim Pereira of Sport, again, #1 source from Brazilian players in Barcelona, came out saying that Napoli have joined Porto and Atletico Madrid in the race for Vitor Roque. Barcelona is expecting contact from Napoli in the coming days. Napoli have good reports on El Triguino and will try to loan him or even sign on a permanent transfer. However, Hansi Flick wants to keep the player. With Guiu leaving, Vitor Roque ain't going nowhere, especially before preseason. Maybe he flops in preseason, we panic, we loan him or sell him, then we bring in another striker. That could happen. I doubt it. I think now it's set in stone. I would say 95% Lewandowski and Vitor Roque will be the two number 9s going into next season. And that's the big moment for Vitor Roque. He now has no one breathing down his neck. He's going to only look forward. He doesn't have to look back anymore. And he needs to push Lewandowski a lot this upcoming season. He's doing double training sessions. He's, pushing himself to the limit. Preseason is his time. When he gets on that plane to America, you lock the F in and you perform. You don't have to score 5, 7, 20 goals. Just perform, look good, look fresh, make those runs in behind, get some chances, maybe even score a couple goals as well. Again, with Lewandowski coming, well, Lewandowski might come back a bit early from the from his break, since Poland got knocked out pretty early. He did not play the first game. He only played about 20 minutes in the second game. Third game against France, he'll probably start, but again, they're already eliminated, so maybe he won't. I guess he's maybe not going to try, but, it'll be a bit less of an intense game, so he might come back a bit early. But Vitor Roque, this is his time now, and I doubt the club now will look to move him on or push him away unless they're very unconvinced and don't trust him from what they see in preseason. But again, that will come with time, so we'll see how things turn out. But Vitor Roque giving a big lifeline here with the exit of Marc Guiu, and he has to take his moment. But right now, the positive thing on his side is he has the backing of Hansi Flick. Now, before the Marc Guiu story, in my opinion, the biggest news around Barcelona, I would say, in the past week, let alone the past 24 hours, is this report from Fernando Porto from Deportivo that honestly brings me some doubts about who the hell is running shit behind the scene. He's come out saying that due to his versatility and his ability to play multiple positions, center back, right back, and the pivot, again, the pivot, his two cameos, Eric Garcia has an advantage in terms of staying over Inigo Martinez, who could only play as a center back. A final decision is yet to be made by Hansi Flick, but the club's input on his continuity are positive due to his versatility. However, it's uncertain if he will start pre-season because he might be eligible for the Olympic team, which will be announced this Wednesday. Stay tuned for that. Well, the Pau Barça is going to be included, Eric Garcia, Fermin Lopez as well. As for Inigo, his high salary puts him at a bigger disadvantage. The club understands they need to make a decision about him soon, and currently it seems more likely that he will not continue at Barcelona. So the club are basically trying to persuade Hansi Flick to pick Eric Garcia and keep him as the 4/5th choice center back over Inigo Martinez. Now, if you're comparing the two profiles of the center backs, I would agree with the club. But you have to look at the logistics. You have to look at everything. Eric Garcia is his value right now with only 2 years left on his Barcelona deal, or maybe even 1 year left. I think he has. You know what? Let's Google this mid video because I want to get this right before I make any assumptions, because you have to get the stuff right. So his contract with Barcelona. So he signed a contract with Barcelona until 2026. So he has 2 years left on his deal, Eric Garcia. So next summer he'll be going to the final year of his deal. He is right now at peak value. He's had an incredible loan with the Girona. He's been one of their best players, high scored defender in La Liga. 15 million is his peak value. With Inigo, he has 1 year left in his deal, has no value, high wages. So this is the club's perspective. But where is the bigger picture? With Inigo Martinez, how are you going to get rid of him? You are 100% going to pay his salary for next year if another club does not come and take it over. If we sell Inigo or let him go for free, he joins, let's say, a club, let's pick a random club, Burnley, and they pay him 50k salary per week, sorry. He earns 120, so that 80k a week difference, we're still going to pay for it. And also, the big hole, he's left-footed. You cannot go into next season with 5 effing right-footed center backs. You're going to get cooked. You're not going to have any versatility. Don't come at me with this PK Mascherano stuff. Yes, that worked, and that was the time it worked, because you played 1 game every month, and you know what? It is what it is, and they're both elite. You cannot get away with that in the modern game. You have to have somewhat of an adaptability. We saw how big of an improvement Inigo came in October when Araujo was injured, when Koundé got injured, when Xavi fell on his knee. He came in alongside Christensen, and that left foot just makes everything so much more fluid in the back line, especially in build-up plays. So just having that as part of your squad is something you need to have. Koundé, Christensen, Araujo, Pau Barça, and Eric Garcia are all right-footed. Can they use their left foot? Yes, but they ain't gonna ping 80-yard balls with the left foot. They can do that with the right foot, no problem. We've seen Pau Barça do that a bunch of times. With the left foot, though, it's not gonna be a reality. So I will say this: if you can get rid of Inigo Martinez and not pay his salary whatsoever, I'll let you keep Eric Garcia. But if we end up getting rid of Inigo Martinez, still paying his salary, then we're stuck with Eric Garcia, who's at his peak value, and we don't sell him, we're gonna look like absolute clowns. And you know what? I know Eric Garcia in a Barcelona shirt hasn't had the best of times. I understand that. I still rate him. I still think he's a good player. I understand, like, last season, he had a few kerfunkles, and then when he started with PK, he had a few mistakes as well, and people didn't rate him. But what we saw with Girona is the best of Eric Garcia, and what we also saw with him at Man City before we purchased him. When there's no pressure on him, when he's like the main man and he has that ability just to be himself, we know how good he is. So it's an interesting situation, but it's also a dumb one, because the easy solution is to sell your player that has the peak asset and then keep the player that you have to pay whether he's here at Barcelona next season or not. And again, having that left foot will be a great asset. And again, Inigo is still a good player. He's still, top veteran, great experience, had a good season last season as well. I think he was a great pickup from Xavi as a free agent with reasonable salary coming in as a free agent. But this flip-flop on the club is just so annoying. So we'll wait and see how things turn out. So we might see little Eric Garcia staying and Inigo leaving. And I guess the decision is going to be coming soon. And I had a feeling this is coming. I mentioned this in a few videos ago as well, that since there's been no reports about Eric Garcia going back to Girona or any sale whatsoever, had a feeling the club do want to keep him with his versatility. Again, they talk about versatility, right? So at center back, you already have 5 players ahead of him: Barça, Araujo, Koundé, Christensen, and then probably him. So he's 4 people ahead of him, right? At right back, I would play Hector Fort over Eric Garcia. I would play Julian Araujo over Eric Garcia. I would play Jules Koundé over Eric Garcia. And I would play Cancelo over Eric Garcia. That's 4 players. In the pivot, I'd rather have Christensen there. I'd rather have Casado there. I'd rather have Sergio Roberto there. Even though he might not be here, I'd rather have Sergio Roberto there. And then hopefully we're going to sign someone in that position. So he is 5th in line as a center back, as a right back, and as a pivot. But they want to keep him. I don't know. We'll see how things turn out. But it looks like the club are contemplating between one of Eric Garcia or Inigo Martinez staying as part of the first team next season. Let's now discuss some of the news surrounding Barcelona over the past 24 hours. First up, some news around Barca Athletic, where they did end up losing in the second leg playoff game to Cordoba 2-1. Very, very unfortunate, very unlucky as well. I just want to highlight the incredible season that Barca Athletic have. They played so well. I think every player played at a very high level, but individual mistakes and a bit of lack of experience cost them in the end. They're competing with teams that, you know, their objective is to get promoted ASAP and to fight for, you know, top spots, where Barca Athletic, the main objective, of course, is to develop youth players and give them the experience, but also, of course, have some objectives as well. Hector Ford had a great game, scored from right back as well, incredible strike. And then, of course, we have some quotes here from Casado after the game as the captain. He was crying when he said this as well, so, you know, thought I just mentioned that. But anyways, he came after the game saying that getting here is very difficult. The team should be proud of what they've done here. My time at Barca Athletic has helped me to grow. Rafa Marquez has helped me a lot in this process. In theory, this was my last game for the reserve team. The renewal is now fully focused on first team dynamics. Now I do my best to convince Hansi Flick this preseason. So again, his time now as the captain for Barca Athletic is over. He is now considered 100% a first team player. Whether he gets a first team number or not, I think still remains to be seen, but no doubt Casado, he's confirmed it now, especially with the renewal a few days ago. It was guaranteed he will be a first team player next season. Now, the final topic that I wanted to discuss before I end off this video is in regards to Barcelona's number 10. Of course, last season there was a number 10 since Ansu Fati went out on loan to Brighton. The 2 seasons before that, he was the number 10. But with Ansu Fati's future right now being far, far away, unfortunately, from Barcelona, the club do have to move on this number because they cannot leave it vacant for another year. Marketing wise and, you know, sponsorships and, you know, advertisement, they cannot miss out on that revenue. And right now, according to reports, Barcelona is considering giving this number to Lamine Yamal next season. Again, one of the key factors here is for marketing reasons, especially in time for the 105th anniversary of the club. Look, it's pretty much guaranteed that there will be a first team player next season wearing the number 10. I think it would be absolutely catastrophic to give it to Lamine Yamal. The motherfucker is 17 years old, coming off the back of an incredible year with the Euros as well with Spain. You cannot put more pressure on this kid. And what happened when we gave another youngster the number 10? Double tore his meniscus, and we haven't seen him since. The best route for me, in my opinion, is to give the number 10 to a veteran in the squad, let him have it for a year or so, and then move on. I think personally, giving it to İlkay Gündoğan would be an incredible move by the club. You give it to someone with experience, someone who'll be here for another year, then after that you can reevaluate it. I think it's 1 year too early for Lamine Yamal. So I'd give it to Gündoğan for a year, whether he stays past 2025 or not with his contract expiring remains to be seen, and then I would give it to Lamine Yamal. Even at 18, I think it's effing ridiculous. But that is why he's had 2 seasons at Barcelona. He's mature. I would have hoped that he matured, matured a little bit. I think he's, mentality-wise, he's fine. But again, you don't want to just put even more pressure on him. That's what I would do personally. Any other contenders for number 10 in the first team? Honestly, I would say no. I would say maybe Lewandowski, but 9's already cemented with him. That's kind of his trademark as well. There's really no one else. I think it's going to be... I think the club are going to give it to Lamine Yamal. There's no doubt in my mind Lamine Yamal will be the number 10 for next season. I just think it's a really risky move by the club. I think giving it to Gündoğan is a much better feat. I believe Gündoğan is number 16 in the squad right now, if I'm not mistaken. What number is Gündoğan? 22, right? He got the fullback number. So he's number 22. That's a great upgrade for him. You can give number 22 to maybe like a Nico Williams if we sign him or something like that. That would be a nice number for him. But that's what I would personally do. I think giving it to Lamine Yamal is just way too early for the kid, man. I mean, he already has the world at his feet. You want to give him the number 10? This is not just any ordinary number. Number 10, So, I would tell the club to proceed with caution. And I am 100% certain the club will give it to Lamine Yamal. I personally, though, think it's a bit too early. Let me know your thoughts now in the comments below. Would you give Lamine Yamal the number 10 kit for next season or not? But I'll tell you this right now for free. There will be a number 10 next season. The question now really is, who will it be? Could it be Ansu? If I'm the club, before giving it to Gundogan, I would keep Ansu Fati. That's what I would do. Keep Ansu Fati, let him have one more remontada. If he flops, you bin him, you sell him, then you move it on to Lamine Yamal. But if you can't give it to, you don't want to keep Ansu Fati, I'd give it to Gundogan. If he doesn't want to give it to Gundogan, then of course it's going to be Lamine Yamal. That's going to be the reality of the situation. So we'll see how things do turn out with Lamine Yamal. I would say right now, 95% going to be Barcelona's number 10 next season. So that was my reaction to the Barcelona news over the past 24 hours. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, and of course leave me your thoughts down below in the comments on everything we discussed. The main thing I want to know first, of course, is your thoughts on Marc Guiu agreeing and joining Chelsea this summer. Second, your thoughts on Deco and this effing obsession with Luis Diaz. 30,000 that midfield reinforcement. Who would you bring in out of Onana, Mikel Merino, and Kimmich, considering all the prices and, you know, logistics behind each deal? And finally, your thoughts on that Inigo Eric Garcia decision. Who would you pick to stay at Barcelona to be that kind of 4th/5th choice defender / center back? Would you pick Eric Garcia, or would you pick Inigo Martinez? And of course, make sure you guys subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time on the channel. Take care, and Forza Barca.